let's get. I'll ask it in smaller bites. During the first meeting you had with, what's his name, Mark Weinstein? Mark Wasserman?
Look at your sheet, maybe.
Mark
maybe
Weinstein.
Oh, okay.
First meeting, no need to be snippy, Mr. Conte.
Well,
During your first meeting with Mark Weinstein, did you tell him that Bonds had taken 8 tests and failed 3 of them?
no, I did not.
Okay. And you have and to the extent that Mr. Weinstein is claiming that you did make such a statement to him, Mr. Weinstein is not telling the truth.
His recollection is not accurate. Even the positive tests, as you just said, have always been only alleged, not that there were. I mean, you're presenting it in a way that is just not accurate with the facts.
Well,
maybe they're alleged, but those, in fact, to this day, those lab reports are tossed because there's a lack of chain of custody, and it's been appealed to 2 separate panels who've decided 9-2 that these are not reports that can even enter the case.
I'm going to move to stop you because you're not responding to my question. I'm just trying to find out, to make it clear. You did not say in words or substance during that first meeting that Bonds had 8 tests and 3 positives.
I don't believe that I did, no.
Right.
Would you like me to repeat it?
Hey, why don't you go off the record?
Subsequently.
Hold on 1 second, Chuck. Go off the record 1 second, please.
The time is 10:23 a.m. and we're going off the record. The time is 10:23 a.m. and we're back on the record.
Subsequently, did there come a time after release of various protective orders that you learned that Barry Bonds had taken 8 drug tests over the years?
Objection to the form of the question. Again, I'm sorry, but the way you're stating it, it sounds as fact. I think the whole defense from Bonds is he didn't fail 8.
I'm not fail. I just said take.
Take. I don't think Barry Bonds has ever said he's taken 8. I think it's certainly fair to say it's been reported.
Subsequently, have you heard reports that the grand jury materials contain allegations that Barry Bonds took 8 drug tests?
Objection. Sorry, Judge. It just goes to, one, the grand jury. We don't know what's in the grand jury. I haven't read it, but I don't know if that's the case. It certainly has been reported that Bonds took drug tests. It's certainly been reported.
Have you heard about any number of have you subsequently heard reports of how many drug tests Bonds had during the period for which he's under investigation?
I've heard that it's alleged there are 3.
Only 3?
That's correct.
That were failed?
That were failed.
Were there any alleged that he took that he did not fail?
There may have been.
All right. You don't recall how many?
No.
Okay. Now, I want to go back to December of 2007. In the materials that you received pursuant to the protective order in your criminal case, you had those documents in your possession in 2007, correct?
No, I did not.
Where were they then?
At my attorney's office.
Okay. They were at you were able to go and see them?
Under certain
Yes,
conditions.
I guess. Under certain conditions.
And what were the conditions?
That somebody had to be there watching you.
Okay. And do you recall whether or not the information, and who was your attorney at the time?
Mary McNamara.
Okay. And at the time, did the materials in your office contain information about the government's allegations as to drug testing?
I'm going to ask that he not answer that question.
It's not attorney-client.
But it may be under the protective order. I have no idea what's under this protective order and what. You're asking very specifically what's in those grand jury minutes relating to Barry Bonds.
They've been
right?
lifted. Nobody's telling me there's any protective order in place here.
I don't know, Judge.
There
I'm
isn't.
telling you there is.
Where is it? I've gone through the docket sheet. There is
The
none.
reason you can't find it is because it's under seal.
There's an order lifting the protective order on Barry Bonds.
Yeah.
You want me to educate you about it? One of them, the original one that's from April of 2004, excuse me, maybe March, but March, April of 2004, was later amended and superseded by another one in April of 2005. They're not the same. So what was under, and at one point in a government filing, they did, this is my understanding from my criminal attorney, that they did attach the original protective order to it, so that became public. However, the one that's in place now was not attached and has not been released, and the order itself is under seal to this minute.
What is your understanding of what's not under seal?
They released the grand jury transcripts and I guess other materials that were in fact under the protective order, but I don't think the protective order itself has ever been unsealed.
But are there documents still provided by, or are there documents still being withheld pursuant to the protective order?
By who?
I don't know of that for sure, but this is, I'm sure there may be. It's ongoing, and one case leads to another, so I'm not sure.
I just want to be clear, because if Mr. Conte's position is that he may not answer questions because he thinks there may be a protective order out there, and he doesn't come in and show me why the protective order doesn't apply, then I'm going to have him back here once I ascertain all this, because I don't think it's remotely credible to say, oh, I can't answer simply because there's a protective order and there's no details given.
Okay, but
So,
I think that's fine. You can make your objection. I think you're asking him specifically about Barry Bonds and what's in Barry Bonds' grand jury testimony relating to Barry Bonds, and nothing to do with Victor Conte.
Well, I am asking something about Victor Conte. What I'm trying to find out is I'd like to find out that, taking you back to December of 2007, did you have any knowledge that the government was claiming that Barry Bonds had failed 3 drug tests?
I may have. I don't.
Where would the source of that knowledge have come from?
I don't recall specifically. It could be documents, could be my attorney, it could be from different sources.
Could some of it have been the product of documents you had reviewed that were covered by the protective order?
I don't believe so.
Well, then, if you don't believe the protective order, what were the other sources that you could have learned from? And let me back up. You're not suggesting that it would have been all right for your attorney to tell you something that was covered by the protective order and then you tell someone else that?
I'm not.
Okay. And if your attorney told you about that, the ultimate source of that information would have been protected.
That's not what he said.
Well, no, but I'm asking him, isn't it true that your attorney would have, anything your attorney learned about Bond's tests would have also been covered by the protective order?
I don't know that.
Who else, what other basis did you have, could you have had in December of 2007, other than matters protected by the protective order? What other basis could you have had for making the statement that it was alleged that Bonds had failed 3 drug tests?
I told you that I don't believe I made the statement.
Okay.